I am Brad Keelor. They are the University of Akron Geo-Wall team. Next up on Director's Cut, you're going to find out the tips, the tricks, the secrets behind their 2026 Geo-Wall competition victory. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Director's Cut. My name is Brad Keelor. I'm the director of the Geo-Institute, and that is why we call this show Director's Cut. Every single week, I sit down with a different GI member who has stories to tell. Some are personal, some are professional, all of them every single week are fun. If you don't know anything about the Geo-Institute, after you watch this interview today, head over to geoinstitute.org. I mean, you could just go to the page and let it sit on your screen and not learn anything, but I would recommend that you check out some amazing things about us, such as that we're a technical society with about 12,000 members, most of whom are geotechnical engineers and or geologists, and that we are part of the American Society of Civil Engineers. If you like what you see today, and these student members are bringing it, you're going to enjoy it. You should click a like, subscribe, and get notifications, and we'll let you know every time we post something to the YouTube channel. Now, this is a very special Director's Cut. Usually I have but one meager guest. Today we've got four, and the reason for that is this is the episode where we have the winning Geo-Wall team on. This year, first time ever, champions, University of Akron team. We have Ben Noirot, we have Braden Sapp, we have Naomi Wertz, we have Caley Barnett. See, I said I wasn't going to mispronounce your name, and then I just gave you a completely new one. Caley Barnett from the University of Akron. Guys, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for doing this. We're going to have a good time. We have 10 questions that all of you get to answer, the same as we do every week, and two of them are the same that we ask everybody every week, and the first one is one of those two. It's describe your job in 45 seconds, and we're going to start with Ben on this one.
All right. Well, my name's Ben. I'm a senior here at the University of Akron. Be graduating in about a month. I'm going more towards the construction side. I'm planning on going into like project management. So right now I'm kind of coordinating with people out in the field and also people in the office, doing a lot of like RFIs and submittal work. So a lot of fun stuff.
Ooh.
After that, I plan on focusing towards like the bridge side. I've always done like bridge construction projects. So that's kind of my interest right now.
Excellent. Let's go Naomi next.
I'm also a senior at the University of Akron. I am currently working part-time for Keller, and I'm just assisting the project managers with some takeoffs and putting together some bid summaries for them.
You guys make it sound like you're not doing cool stuff. This is cool stuff. Think about your fellow students who aren't doing that stuff. Braden, what about you?
Well, I'm Braden. I'm a junior at the University of Akron, and I got 1 year left, so I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to go into. But currently, I work for Shelley and Sands in their survey department over the summers.
Very cool. And Caley, our third senior in the group.
Yes, as Brad just said, I'll be graduating here shortly, and I plan on going into bridge design and inspection.
That is, we got a lot of bridge love in this group here, which is okay. That's totally fine. As long as it's still going to be geotech related, we'll be really happy about that here at the Geo-Institute. We're going to get to some fun questions now, because that's what people are watching Director's Cut for. And we're going to start with this one. I have a lot of answers to this one. I want to hear from you guys first. What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever had to do to keep your car functioning / running? And on this one, how about we start with Braden?
All right. So I'd say that the most ridiculous thing I've had to do to keep my car running is one time I got in my car and I went to latch the door and it wouldn't latch. And I didn't have like the tools or anything with me to fix it at the time, but I did have a ratchet strap. So I just took the
Oh,
ratchet strap and I hooked it to the one door handle and I hooked it to the other door handle and just tightened it up and then down the road we went. And then it just stayed like that until I had time to fix it.
so I mean, it was actually like almost a double seat belt. So technically,
Exactly.
you were safer than you had been before that happened.
Exactly. And it worked. So,
That is beautiful, Kaylee. How about you?
All through high school and most of my years in college, I drove a 2009 Chevy Cobalt, and Cobalts are pretty notorious for rusting. And my exhaust pipe, the brackets holding that up, decided to break. And so I used zip ties and duct tape, the classics, to keep that in place and keep it running.
That's amazing. Yeah, Cobalts are known for being fine vehicles. That was I'm impressed that that's the worst thing that happened in the Cobalt. Naomi, you have a good one?
I couldn't think of anything because I was blessed with a 2010 Toyota Corolla. That thing never failed me. But I did come up with a story. My mom is notorious for making wrong turns. So I think this was wintertime. She was going to turn into the recycling center and just, it was not the parking lot for that. It was like a muddy area. And she got stuck and we had to use the cardboard that we were going to recycle and stick it under the tires to get it out.
Very resourceful,
Yeah.
and I like that. Ben, what about you?
So last semester I had a surveying class that ended at like 8:30, so it was already dark. And on the way home, halfway home, I apparently hit a nail and I had a flat tire. I had to stop at a friend's house. We filled it up. There was still a hole, so it would start deflating. So right when it was fully filled, we unplugged it and I tried booking it home. Um, had to stop at a gas station and do the exact same thing. Filled up my tire. And then right when I plugged it, tried booking it home. And then like right when I got in my driveway, I was like just shaking the whole way up. My tire was like completely flat. I'm pretty sure I damaged the rim of my car, but I made it, which is all that matters.
So I think one thing you learn early on as a driver is that going faster doesn't make problems go away. Um, my first car, I never changed the oil. I did not do the maintenance that you needed to do, and I cracked the engine block. And I was about a half hour from, I was home on Thanksgiving break my freshman year. I'm about a half hour from home. And I got the car running. It would go about 25 miles an hour, but the only way to get home was to go right through downtown where we lived. And so my solution was to lay on the horn and not slow down as I went through every four-way stop and every red traffic light. And I did not cause any accidents. I didn't get in any accidents, but looking back now as an adult, I'm like, I can't believe that that was my solution to the problem, but it worked. I got home, and then that was the car also that Salvation Army wouldn't take that I talked about earlier. They were not interested in my Sunbird. It was very sad. So those were all great answers. The third question in the interview was always the research question. And you guys are kind of in an interesting case because you haven't necessarily gotten to get out in the world and do that work yet. So what we're going to do here is you guys get to show off something cool that you've worked on, whether it was a project you got to do either in an internship or one of your jobs off campus or something that you got to do in the lab at school. It's really whatever you want. Just show off something cool that you got to do. And this time we start with Caley.
So on my internship, I interned with a GPD group for about 4 years, not the entire time, but on and off for 4 years. And when I first started, I got to work on a huge bridge project in Columbus where I got to spend 3 months straight checking rebar and drawing rebar, which I actually really enjoyed. But one of those bridges had like caps on it that we actually put parks on. So there were parks on the sides of the bridges, which was really neat to see.
So was that like almost a cathartic experience for you, all that rebar work? I mean, did you feel like it was monotonous, but was there some kind of like beauty or simplicity in that?
Yes, a lot of it does repeat, and there were multiple bridges I checked rebar for, so a lot of it was the same, but it was really neat to go through and make sure everything aligned correctly with the drawings and the rebar tables, and it was really rewarding at the end.
Oh, that I always say there are no correct answers on Director's Cut, but that was the correct answer. I like that a lot. Braden, you get to go next.
I'd say one of the coolest things that I've worked on is at Shelley and Sands over the summers. I perform a lot of their drone surveys, so calculating quantities and stuff for their like quarries and stuff like that. So I get to go out, fly the drone, and get data and stuff, and help them out in that aspect. And I also get to help make roadway models for the projects, the bridges, roadways, stuff like that.
Is that something, I mean, for me, I was a block kid. I loved that stuff, and everything had to be to scale. Like, I was obsessive over it. Did you feel like you were living out some fantasy you had as a 5-year-old when you got to do that stuff?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it just like getting to do it is a great experience. So it's like growing up is like, you know, you played with those things, and then you grow up and you still play with those things.
But it's real.
Exactly.
Kind of awesome. All right, Ben, how about you?
Well, last summer I got to do bridge inspections. One of the biggest bridges here in Northeast Ohio was Route 8 Bridge, which is also located in Akron. And I got the chance to look at like the bearings on top of the piers. So I was able to walk on the bottom flange, which is only 6 inches thick. And I'm like a pretty big dude. I wear size 15 shoes, so it was pretty sketchy, and I was shaking the whole time. But that was pretty neat to see because we were like 200 feet off the ground, just walking across the whole length of the bridge, checking each bearing.
Did you get footage of this? Because I don't know how many reels or shorts you guys watch, but one of my favorites is all those crazy hiking ledges, and like they're always in Asia, I think, where you know there are no health and safety regulations apparently, and it's just these people walking across these ledges. Did you get any footage of that?
I got a picture, but I don't have any footage or videos of me walking.
Missed opportunity, I feel like. And Naomi, you got to go last on this one. What's your answer?
I was going to go more towards the research answer. I helped a professor, Dr. Cutright, and a grad student with some research throughout my college years, and we did a study on the impact of compost blankets on deforming slopes. So that was pretty cool.
And there may be, I believe, a video entry to the student competition from last year on that.
Yes, I gave them that idea. Yeah.
Exactly. Seeing it all up here. Now, for undergrads who are out there watching this one specifically for you, Naomi, how'd you get involved in the research work? Like, it doesn't just necessarily come to you, right? How'd you get involved, and what was rewarding about it?
I think it just started off with being involved with Geo-Wall because the person that was in charge of Geo-Wall at the time was a PhD student, and he needed assistance. And so I was asked through that way, and it happened to work out. I got some credits for it, and it was very rewarding, time consuming, but I learned a lot, and I got to see like a different part of like maybe more some of the chemistry side and the experimental side that you don't usually learn in the classroom. So definitely worth it.
I will always be an advocate of undergraduates doing research. I think it's a great idea. You don't know whether or not you like it until you get that experience. So that's really cool that you got to do that. I'm going to go back to another fun question. Well, they're all fun questions. I always have to stop myself when I say that. It is field trip season. The leaves are coming out, and It's just a great time, I think, to be a K through 12 student and get on the bus and go somewhere fun. When I was a kid, I moved to the DC area when I was in high school and got to go to a lot of really cool places here on field trips. It seemed like all the time. So I wanted to ask you guys, what's the best field trip you ever went on as a kid? And Naomi, you get to go first on this one.
Well, I did have a different answer, but then you guys talked about going to DC, and so I'm going to talk about that one. We went to DC my senior year instead, and it was actually one of my favorite trips. Specifically, we did like a cruise or a dinner cruise at night, and there was like a different school in the bottom of part of the boat, and it was like middle schoolers, and we snuck down, and they had like the best dance party I like better like any other dance that I've gone to in school, and I loved it. But then we got in trouble for sneaking off. But
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty innocent sneak off, though. Like, you didn't go do something horrible.
No, we were just having a good time, and it was fun. The dance that we had was on our side of the boat was just terrible. No one was dancing. The middle schoolers know how to dance.
Was this the Spirit of Washington? Do you remember? I believe that's one of the boats.
I don't remember what boat it was.
So other than that, we have to tell people, what else did you enjoy about my fair city? It's beautiful at this time of year. What else did you like about DC?
Definitely the cherry blossoms. They're beautiful. Just the memorials. All the memorials are very well done and good.
You can't really go wrong, and there's a lot of them. You can't even ever go see them. There's so many things. I've lived here since 1993, and there are a lot of things that I haven't ever seen in my life. All right. Next up on this one is going to be Ben. Best field trip ever.
I was also going to go with DC. When we went there, we went to
We didn't plan this in advance, by the way, for everybody.
We went to a thing called Medieval Times. It was like this big like Coliseum. And there was, do you know what it is?
Yeah, out in like
Arundel
Mills or something in Maryland.
That was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. There was like 12 different schools that were like, all had a different soldier down battling. They were like jousting and doing everything. And every school was like hollering at each other. Thought fights were going to break out. There was like a big feast for everyone. We were eating like baby dragon. I forget a lot of the food, but baby dragon really stood out as like a mini rotisserie chicken.
You'd remember that.
Yes. Yeah, that was pretty neat.
I love the contrast of those answers because Naomi gives us the memorials and everything and the Spirit of Washington, and Ben goes with, for those in the DC area, it has to be the Arundel Mills location because it's the only one left. This is literally like a mall out in suburban Maryland. All these museums, all these wonderful monuments, the capital of the free world. And the best thing was Medieval Times. I love that. That's fantastic. Caley, you're up next.
So earlier we talked about my wagon safari in elementary school, but now thinking back, in 8th grade, we got to go, was it 8th grade? In middle school, we got to go to Cedar Point for the day, which was really cool. So we all got dropped off.
As a field trip?
On a field trip. So we got dropped off early in the morning before the park even opened, and we were just free to go ride all day and just had to meet back at the end of the day and go home, and that was a really fun trip.
And you didn't have to do any work or anything? Because I will tell you, maybe Virginia schools are super lame. There was always a math and science day where they went to either Busch Gardens or King's Dominion, and you got like a physics and math worksheet that you had to do while you were there, and you'd have to like calculate the angles of the roller coasters and stuff like that. You didn't have to do anything like that?
No, there were other schools there at the same time that had to, but we did not. We just got to ride all day.
Did you mock those other students?
No.
You guys have hearts of gold. I would have been all over that. Braden, what about you? Best field trip ever?
Best field trip I ever went on, I think it was in first grade. We went to the Columbus Zoo, and it was right after the Africa exhibit opened. So we were able to see that like shortly after it opened and walk around the zoo with a group of us. And it was really cool. It was really fun to see everything because as a little first grader, it's like all the animals are just the coolest thing ever, and they still are really cool. So
I feel like one of the key parts of the field trip, especially on elementary school, is the visit to the gift shop at the end of the day. And it is almost required by law, I think, that there are many kids who buy things that, one, they could just get anywhere, and two, is completely unrelated to the experience they just had. Do you remember your gift shop purchase from the zoo, Braden, and was it amazing?
I'm pretty sure I didn't buy like anything like tangible like to remember it. I think it was a white cherry icy. I'm pretty sure is what I got, and it was gone before I got on the bus.
My favorites, they would have those little baskets of gemstones by like the register that you could buy. I guess because they were cheap, they would put them there. Again, nothing to do. It's not like it was some geology focused thing. It was just literally like a basket of rocks with like a little background and the giant novelty pencil. That was my go-to when I would go on a field trip was the giant pencil. I don't know what I thought I was going to do with these things, but I have so many. And I mean, I still have them. They're like 40 years old at this point. That's fantastic. You all had wonderful answers to that one. I like that a lot. Now, you got to think back. We do a lot of nostalgia on Director's Cut, except this one is not necessarily that, because you may not have been alive for your answers to these questions. What event in the past would you have most wanted to attend or be present at? And I think, Caley, you're the last one who hasn't gone first for an answer, so you get this one.
So the event I thought of was actually I wasn't born. It was the Apollo 11 moon landing, and I just think it would have been so cool to experience that and like how innovative and like how technology was advancing at the time. I just think it would have been really cool to see.
Oh, that's a great answer. I mean, so how many times have you watched the footage of it? Now that it's on YouTube and everything, you could do it every 5 minutes if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, that's a good answer, though. And Artemis now going farther than those guys ever did. Next up, we'll go Ben. I think you're number 2 on this one.
My answer is a little different. Being from Akron, there has to be a LeBron answer. So I'm going to go 2016 Game 7 NBA Finals, where Cavs came back from 3-1 deficit and won Game 7. That's probably my number 1.
As a lifelong Pistons fan, I do take some umbrage with that just because it's a Cavs-related memory. My greatest LeBron memory, it was actually against the Pistons, and I believe it was in the 07 Conference Finals in Game 6. LeBron scored the last 27 points of the game, I believe, to come back and beat the Pistons and send them home and not get back to the NBA Finals. I was very distraught about that. But nice to have a LeBron reference in an Akron interview. Naomi, what about you?
Well, Caley actually took one. I was going to go with the first moon landing, but we'll go with maybe being present for one of the 7 wonders of the world. Like we're going to Machu Picchu, so that would be cool to be a part of the planning of that.
Wow. So not even that's interesting because that's not even a singular event. That's like a long-term thing. I mean, do you think you'd be, if you were there and you had all the knowledge that you have now, do you think you'd have a hard time not meddling in the planning? Didn't
yes.
think you were going to get that one, did you?
No, I didn't. I mean, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world for a reason. So I feel like they did a pretty good job with the knowledge they had. So maybe my futuristic ideas wouldn't have worked so well but I mean, I don't know. It would be cool to see what they were thinking at the time or how they came up with what they did.
That's a great answer. I like that. Braden, what about you?
I'd say for me, I would like to be president for the Lewis and Clark expedition because like I'm really into surveying and I also really like hiking and just nature. So being able to be like there with them while they, explored the US and surveyed it and everything, I think that'd be really cool.
That is amazing. Another long-term one. That's and like two-thirds of the way through, you could be like, you guys aren't gonna believe this. I know you don't know what video games are, but somebody made a game about this. Ah, that's fantastic. I love that, guys. That is a really good answer. The other question that we ask everybody when they come on Director's Cut is to tell their ASCE and GI story. And the question is as simple as this. How did you first get involved with ASCE and GI? And I think maybe we're back to Ben going first on this one.
So I actually first joined ASCE. It was my freshman year. I was trying to find something to do, and I heard that people build canoes out of concrete. And as a civil engineer, I found that pretty interesting. So I did that for a little bit, but then start of sophomore year, I was told about Geo-Wall, and I got interested in that and heard get a trip to Vancouver. So that kind of swayed my opinion a little bit. So joined that, and it's been pretty nice.
And at that moment, did you say, wow, the Geo-Wall competition is way cool? And not to put any shade out to Concrete Canoe. I mean, because it is, you hit it, right? When people hear about that the first time, I think they're like, hold up.
Yeah.
That's not going to float.
Geo-Wall, because, I mean, it's like during Christmas or Easter, I like talk to my family, have to like describe what Geo-Wall is and talk about a box filled with sand or using paper to hold it up, and it just sounds really boring until we actually like start doing the design and understanding what's happening.
And the actual competition itself, I it's got to be. Concrete Canoe's fun, Steel Bridge is fun, but Geo-Wall, I don't think there's any more exciting competition that ASCE has. Braden, what about you? How'd you get started?
So I first signed up for ASCE also my freshman year, just trying to find things to get involved with and whatnot. But I never really got involved with Steel Bridge or Concrete Canoe or anything until last semester. I was in a boundary surveying lab with Ben and Naomi, and they came up to me and were like, "Hey, do you want to get involved with Geo-Challenge?" And I was like, I'm trying to get involved with more stuff, and I didn't really know what it was, but I was like, sure, yeah, I'll get involved. And then I showed up, and I really got invested and enjoyed it because I was in the middle of my soil mechanics class, so it like applied exactly with what I was learning, and I was like, this is really cool, and then got involved with that. So
didn't get to go to Vancouver though. Ben's got you beat there. It was out of the country.
Beat.
Salt Lake was pretty nice, but
yeah.
All right, third answer here. Naomi, what do you got?
So I got involved with GI first, and this was my freshman year. Some kid in my Calc 2 class came up to me and was like, do you want to do geoprediction? And I was like, sure. So we tried to do geoprediction, but I'm also a freshman and had no idea what to do. So we kind of like faded off from trying to do that, and a position opened on the Geo-Wall team. And that made me get involved with ASCE, and ever since I've been very involved with this organization.
Oh, perfect. Caley?
So my freshman year was all online. We were not allowed on campus because of COVID. So my sophomore year, I actually got involved with Steel Bridge first. And because of Steel Bridge, they introduced me to going to ASCE meetings. And at one of those meetings, I also heard about the Vancouver trip and decided to be on the Wall team that year, and then have been involved with Geo-Challenge ever since.
And this is where we do the pitch for all the viewers, especially if you're a student membership in ASCE, and then you get to pick an institute, remains free to this very day. You go, you put in some personal information. We're not too prying. We're not going to ask you anything crazy. You click submit, you're a student member. It's that easy. And then you can get involved in all of the amazing student competitions that we have, both within the Geo-Institute and across ASCE. And there's all kinds of information about those on the website. We will put a link down in the show notes below the window where you're watching this now. An important question that has never been asked in Director's Cut history. I feel like it's appropriate to ask this to 4 undergraduate students. What qualities make the best professors? And I think Naomi's first up on this one.
I think it's very important for the professor to care more about the students' understanding than the grades. When they care more about that, I think it goes a long way. And also just interacting with the students more on a personal level and getting involved with whatever activities they're in. Like we had some amazing professors help us out with some Geo-Wall stuff, and it just makes a big difference.
Caley, how about you?
I think having professors that are extremely passionate and knowledgeable about what they're teaching is extremely helpful. I mean, they understand it well, so they can always describe things in a different way, and that's helped me a lot along the way.
Ben?
I think a professor that you could relate to, like example that we have a professor right now, his name's Cena. So about everyone really enjoys him. We're doing a class right now where he teaches like the first 4 weeks, and then the rest of the semester, the students teach a geotech topic. And it's like an hour presentation just about. So it's very student-led. But we spent like the first 3 weeks just like talking about how professors can teach and like keep students' attention, which was actually a pretty fun class because like the whole class is involved, and somehow like Minecraft got brought up. So people are doing presentations and like having like Minecraft in the background so everyone's focused the whole time. But yeah, those classes really help with like understanding and like actually understanding what's happening in the class.
We're going to get Braden's answer, and then we're going to go back to that. I got to ask a follow-up question for that one. So Braden, what's your answer first?
I'd say a professor that is really understanding and like personable. So like they relate to the students. I think somebody already said that as well, but I'd also say some like a professor that gives application with what they're teaching. Cause like, especially in some of the theory classes, it can be very just daunting, not understanding all the theory. But once you have that application, it gives like something you can visualize and, connect it with. So it helps it stick better in your memory. I also really like it when like the lecture's more of a conversation, like it goes back and forth instead of just always being like talked at. You have like a chance to ask questions and communicate back with the professor.
So now we are going to go back. Have all 4 of you taken this class that was student led?
I'm in it right now.
Naomi in
So
it.
we got Ben and Naomi. So guys, when you heard that this was how this was going to go down, what did you think? I mean, I think back to my undergrad self, I would have absolutely hated that, and I would have been terrified of it. What was your reaction at first when you knew this was going to happen this way, and then where are you now on it?
We're actually partners in that class, so we give 2 presentations throughout the year, and that first one was entirely over MSC walls, and because of Geo-Challenge, we were like, oh yeah, we got a good start to this, and we kind of wanted to just kind of have fun with it. Like at the end, are you aware of what a Kahoot is?
Oh, I'm very aware of Kahoots.
Yes, we made a Kahoot for the class at the end, and whole class kind of got involved, and it was really competitive and fun way to end it.
Naomi, what do you think? I mean, were you freaked out at first, or, I mean, I don't know. You guys are all pretty chill, it seems like. So
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I definitely have grown in my college years. So if this was a class that I did my freshman year, definitely more scary. It's a smaller class, so it's not as scary presenting to so many people. And the fact that we did MSC walls, just that's a topic I'm comfortable with, so it made it a lot more enjoyable. Our next one is going to be on ground improvement. So we're both a little not as familiar with it, so that one's a little bit more scary.
Wait, hold on. Didn't you say you worked at Keller?
Yes, but I don't know how to apply every technique to every situation, and I haven't explained it to people. So and then we have to do, I've never done I was going to do an example problem probably on like how to design aggregate piers, and I've never done that. So I have to learn how to do a design problem.
I mean, I feel like doing this interview and putting this on the YouTube channel, if anybody would like to help Ben and Naomi with this project, maybe that is another Keller employee or somebody from another company like GeoPeer or something like that, just, you can find them, Google them, you'll find their emails, we can make the connection. We'll make sure you guys do okay in the second presentation. Little benefits of being on Director's Cut.
Yes.
We have to talk about Akron. We have to talk about Akron. I'm so happy that I could impart upon you guys a fact about your city that you didn't know before, that it was a punk rock mecca in the 1970s. And maybe somebody out there knows it. Pere Ubu, I think, another amazing punk band from the 70s that had roots in Akron. But I want to know, what is something sneaky good about Akron that everybody out there needs to know? And we're going to go with Braden first on this one.
All right, I gotta go with the metro parks in Akron. So, like, especially in the spring, there's a lot of blooming trees, so they're really pretty, and it's a great like place to go and like escape the city feel. And it kind of like you get the trees, there's a lot of grass space, so it just can be very peaceful and just enjoy the nature, and makes a great study spot too.
Oh, I mean, what's the campus like on it? I've never been to the Akron campus. It's got to be relatively large, but the metro parks are there too if you want to escape.
Yeah. So like Akron's campus, there's a lot of concrete and not much green space. So being able to go to a park and like, touch grass is pretty nice.
Excellent. Now, I always say at its heart, Director's Cut is a show about food, sports, and music. Caley, let's talk some food. What's great about Akron?
Downtown in Akron, walking distance from campus, there is a little deli. It's called Diamond Deli, and it is the best sub I have ever had. Definitely have to go at least a couple times a semester.
What is your regular order? If someone was visiting Akron and went to Diamond Deli, what do you recommend?
I always get the Italian sub.
Now, how are they? I told you, we're going to get into it, okay? How are they with the spice level on the Italian? Could you get the spicy if you wanted it?
I'm not sure if you could get it spicy. I'm sure you could. I just usually don't gravitate towards spice, but it's really flavorful even if you don't get it spicy.
I'm going to have to do some research. As I said, I've never been to the Akron campus. This might make it worth my while. Ben, you get to go next. What do you got?
Before my answer, I'm going to say the Diamond Deli. I'm going to back up Kaylee's answer with how good that is. And my regular go-to is the LeBron wrap. It's
2 times. Second LeBron reference. So, but tell us, what's in the LeBron wrap?
It's kind of like a bacon. It's kind of like BLT or like club sandwich. It has all that. It has like spicy mayo, onions, lettuce. It's filling too.
That sounds like a winner. Yeah, okay, but now you got another one for us. What's your Akron recommendation?
I would have said there's like a public gathering spot called Lock 3, which is kind of middle of Akron. They always decorate it nicely with like the season. So like during the winter, they open up like an ice skating rink. There's like Christmas themed everywhere. Across the street is the Rubber Duck Stadium. And there's a really good peanut shop across from there, too, that I always go to multiple times a semester. And then throughout the summer, they have a bunch of, like, music venues. They have a lot of just, like, family events that you could go to and enjoy and spend time with others.
That's amazing. Okay, Naomi, what do you got?
I have another food recommendation. I think it's also in downtown Akron. It's called Luigi's. It's an Italian restaurant, and they have really good pizza, lasagna. They got salads, but it's mainly like 50% cheese, so it's pretty good.
What's your go-to order there?
I just get a pepperoni pizza and maybe a side salad. That's all you really need. It's delicious. There's always a line. No matter
What we didn't cover in any of these responses, is there some kind of food that a visitor to Akron needs to have? Is there something special when people come there that they cannot miss?
Not that I could think.
I don't think so.
We're gonna have to edit that out, guys.
I can't think of anything either.
Akron. We had the LeBron rap. I did like that you clarified that Luigi's was an Italian place. That would be super weird. We have 2 questions left in the interview, and we got to talk a little bit about Geo-Congress, because that was the site of your amazing feat, I wish we did gold, silver, and bronze, right? Because then you'd get to say you won the gold medal in Geo-Wall and you got to bring it back to Akron. But alas, it's just first place and you get the trophy, which is still very cool. What is the coolest thing you guys did on the way to, from, or at Geo-Congress? And we'll go with Caley going first on this one.
So while we were there, we got to go to Antelope State Park, and we went hiking there. We went for about a 5-mile hike, and we got, I'd say, probably 50 feet from a wild bison, which was really awesome to see.
Shocking? Like awesome in like a cool way? Awesome in a terrifying way? Like where were you on the scale at that point?
I just thought it was really cool. There were, massive, do they go in herds? There were massive herds of them all over the place, but then there was just this one lonesome bison that we had to walk by on the trail, and it was really cool to see.
Was he, by himself, he was like an emo bison? He was smoking. He looked like he wasn't interested in what the other bison were doing. There was a little much, I guess. Naomi, you get to go next.
I would say we went to go to the Salt Lake, and then we went to find a trail to go up the mountain, and we just found a random. It wasn't even really a trail, and we just hiked up pretty far and made it to some sort of peak. Not all the way to the top, but that was fun.
So this is the state park then that's in the Great Salt Lake, right?
Was it a state park? We just kind of walked in the middle of nowhere. It was like a rest stop, and we just started walking. We licked the ground to taste if it was salty.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was really salty.
Yeah.
All right, checks out. Another one, if they had called it like the Great Salt Lake, it'd just like to trick people so that they wouldn't move there because they thought it was too salty. All right, Braden, what about you?
I'd say that the coolest thing we did was after the competition, we went to the planetarium. I'd never been to anything like that before, but it was a lot of fun. So getting to see all the exhibits and everything they had and just the science behind it and stuff was really cool. And I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, nice to get some physics and astronomy in here. And Ben, what about you?
I would have said us trying to climb that mountain was pretty fun. We kind of pulled off onto a side road, and we were driving. It kind of looked like Breaking Bad setting, driving through the desert for 20 minutes until we saw a hiking trail. We could try climbing the mountain, and then afterwards we decided to go get pizza, and we found ourselves in Nevada somehow. Right exit we got off, there was a casino and a good pizza place, and it's probably one of the best pizzas I've had.
So how far was this?
It was an hour 45 drive to the mountain in Salt Flats, and then we drove another 20 minutes for pizza.
Wow. So I think it's hard for people who have lived their entire life out west to think, of more densely populated areas and stuff. It's always very strange to me when you go out there and there's just nothing for massive stretches. You go 60 miles without seeing another car sometimes. I mean, and the mountains too. I have to say this, as a fellow Midwesterner, the first time I saw mountains, I was like, we got to climb them. Like, it's just like a thing, right? I mean, how much of that was going on for you guys? But an hour and a half, 45 to get out there, that's some dedication. I like that.
Yes, it was worth it.
Yeah. It was
Was there any other
fun.
wildlife?
Then we found a skull, like an animal
Oh,
skull.
They find an animal skull, yes. I'm not sure what animal it was, though.
But it was a skull, and that's cool. And
Yes.
it always makes you a little nervous, right? Like, should I not be here? Like, is there something, especially in the desert? That freaks me out a little bit. But I love that you guys got out and about to do that. But then to get the Geo-Wall trophy home, can you tell us what happened, what you had to do?
Yeah, so right after we got that, we made a Walmart visit, and we ended up buying another suitcase for the airport, and we also got bubble wrap to wrap the trophy in so that we knew it'd make it home safely with us to Akron.
I feel like I should have talked to you before you did that, because I think what would have been really awesome is for you guys to just keep it out on the plane. And when you get on the plane, like, hold it up and yell and everything. And just all the other passengers, they would know that something important had happened. They just wouldn't know what it was. And you'd have to explain to them. And it would have been even more confusing than when you explained the paper retaining wall to your family at Christmas.
Yeah. Well, that happened to me on the flight out there. A guy was like, "Oh, like, what are you going to Salt Lake City for?" And I was like, "Oh, like, I'm part of a design team." So I was trying to explain to him, like, about what we do and all this stuff. And he's just looking at me like I had three heads. And Ben witnessed the whole thing, and it was hilarious.
He was just in the row behind me, and I was just crackling up the whole time, just listening, trying to explain this to a random guy.
But he might have gotten wherever he was going and looked it up, and now he's becoming a geotechnical expert. You don't know. That's what we call ambassadorship. I like that. So the final question in the interview has to be this. We might have a bonus question. I've got a good bonus question for you guys. But the final real question in the interview is we have to talk about the Geo-Wall. Again, your 2026 Geo-Wall champions, ladies and gentlemen, the University of Akron team. What was your winning strategy for the competition this year? And you guys are going to have to pick who goes first on this one and then go in whatever order you determine to add on.
I could go first.
All right.
All right. I think our strategy was just practice and communication. We got together every week for multiple weeks, and we practiced the entire competition through. And we learned how to communicate and work together as a team. So we would practice our cutting and of our strips. And if Braden and I finished our strips first, we would communicate with Ben and Naomi to see if they needed us to cut any of their assigned strips. And we just, throughout the entire competition, continue to communicate and help each other out. And that really has an impact.
All right. The other three, what do you guys want to add to that?
I was thinking kind of like what Caley said, but more making sure that we were consistent the whole time, especially with the construction process, making sure everyone knew what their role was. The time constraint, that wouldn't be a problem because we did it so many times and we kind of knew how much we could mess up until we had to start worrying about time. And also we did a lot with testing the material, which I think Caley or Braden or Naomi will talk about. So I don't talk about everything.
Yeah, I would say we did a lot of tests to like test the strength of paper and just our design just to see how it was going to work and how it would perform before we even really started practicing a bunch for it. So we just ran a bunch of tests on multiple weeks and stuff, and just to see and test it. And then once we got to testing the whole like competition in the box, we were pretty confident with what we had going on because of the tests we ran. So we knew it was like going on with the paper strips.
Naomi, you've got the unenviable position of being last on this one.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Well, I kind of agree with everyone. I think we all just work really well together. I think we became good friends through this competition. We do put a lot of work on the front half of just talking and meeting with professionals to get advice and see what their thoughts are on this, because it's really hard to predict this scale of a project. So, and again, just doing all we can with like the research side of things.
I think those are all great answers. And if somebody took something away from this at the top level, I would say a lot of you guys talked about stuff that really isn't technical expertise at all. It's just about working well together as a team and listening to each other and understanding what needs to happen to achieve a goal. So those were great answers. I love that. Now, we do have to have a bonus question in here. At the Geo-Institute, we love mascots. We just have a deep affinity for them in general. We love to have them at Geo-Congress, as you guys have probably seen over the last few years. The University of Akron has an amazing mascot, and it would be a travesty if we did not talk about this during the interview. And again, you guys are going to have to pick the order here. Who can describe the University of Akron mascot, and then who has had any kind of unique experience with the University of Akron mascot?
The mascot is a kangaroo, Zippy. Everyone loves them. Actually, her changed genders was a man like first 10 years, but then changed to a woman. That was like a Kahoot question during freshman orientation at college. So fun fact. But every single event around campus, Zippy's just walking around taking selfies with everyone, which makes the experience that much better.
Yeah, to add on with that, I would say like during orientation or like campus events and stuff, they always have Zippy cookies, and they are like so good. They're one of the, always got to get a Zippy cookie.
Made of kangaroo.
No, they're just a sugar cookie with icing.
Still good though. Yeah. I mean, so does Zippy have any rules for the job? I mean, I mentioned I went to St. Joe's in Philadelphia. Our mascot is the Hawks, and the Hawk is required to flap every 2 seconds while in public. It is an exhausting job, and the Hawk has to be incredibly physically fit. Does Zippy have any requirements? I mean, I don't think Zippy would go around and kick people, but do they have to do anything while they're in the costume other than be a fun mascot? That's easy. That's great. Oh, now I mean, that's the other thing. So what did we learn today? LeBron rap, Metro Parks, and Zippy's a lot of fun, and Zippy cookies. I think though, if you only took away 3 things, and teamwork, if you only take away 4 things from this interview today, those are all pretty good things to take away from. You guys survived. You made it through all the questions. You made it through the bonus questions, everything I could throw at you, and you did a great job. For our viewers, if you liked what you saw, and you probably did because you're here at the end, you should click like, subscribe, and get notifications. And yes, we let you know every time we post something to the YouTube channel. Guys, thank you again. Congratulations, first of all, on winning the Geo-Wall Championship in 2026. And thank you for all the amazing answers today and for coming on the show. And I've been saving this one up until the end. Ben, I hope whoever's keeping you captive lets you out. And for our viewers again, we will see everybody in just 7 short days with another brand new episode of Director's Cut.